Tariq, I made it up to you. Are we good?
You like?
You want to come?
Hell no.
So this was an exclusive that once again dropped on social media, which is full of hosts of scenes we haven't seen yet. It also paints a picture of a couple of new storylines and relationships, with the teaser being captioned, "Relationships will be tested." Now, in comparison to the last teaser that they released, this one also seems a lot more calmer, as if it's after the storm that we're gonna see in episode 1. We've got Tariq, Effie and Diana back at Stansfield. There's a complex relationship between Effie and Tariq, Tariq and Diana, Tariq and Anya, and also Kane and Noma, which I don't think any of us expected to see. So in this breakdown, we're going to be running through all these new scenes and what they might mean for the storyline and relationships in part 1 of Power Book 2 Ghost Season 4. Now first things first, I know a lot of people are going to be questioning Tariq like, why is he back at Stansfield? It is one of the questions we had when they released the exclusive images, but this teaser and the previous images and scenes we've seen basically confirms they are back at Stansfield, so at some point, either in episode 1 or soon after, I wouldn't be surprised if a truce is called, where they go back to, not business as usual, but kind of where the war and all-out assault kind of calms down, at least for a short period, which I think we should have all expected. A war is definitely bad for business, and I don't think either side want heat from law enforcement, especially with Detective Don Carter now on the scene. There's also no way they were going to have Tariq and Noma in a war for the entire season. They're definitely bound to throw a curveball in pretty early, and I don't think it's going to be the only one. Now in this teaser we've also got Effie saying she made it up to Tariq, and she's also questioning whether they're good. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's involved in somehow de-escalating the situation or even going behind Kane's back. Like I said before, Effie will be at the center of the storm at some point in season 4. Whenever we watch Power, there's always a period of time where it's Effie center stage, or where Diana takes the limelight, or someone else like Brayden, and Effie will have a time again. We also have to remember, in Tariq's words, she is a snake bitch. So that Kane and Effie situation is definitely one to keep an eye on. Now she's also questioning Tariq about whether they're good, because apparently she's made it up to him. How she believes she's made it up to him, who knows, we're just gonna have to kinda wait and see. But unsurprisingly, Tariq just ain't interested, and rightly so. I think he's been burned way too many times by Effie, so even if she does help him, however that may be, he still won't trust her, and can we blame him? I don't think we can. In fact, we'd have to say he's pretty damn stupid to ever trust her again after what she's done. He's not gonna let that shit slide, no way. Even if a truce is called, you can bet, this time around Tariq is still gonna be thinking about revenge, because that's the only way he gets his freedom. He has to take everybody down to protect his future, just like Ghost once had to kind of eliminate everybody who could associate him as Ghost. So having said that, even though I do think Tariq won't be stupid enough to trust Effie, I still wouldn't be surprised if they did eventually work together for the greater good, which is to kind of take down Noma and the Tejadas. He might be ignoring her and he might be still thinking about revenge, but it doesn't mean he can't use her, and so that brings me over to the next scene.
How do I know you and Tariq ain't trying to run a long game? If you jealous, just say that.
In what looks like a conversation with Effie, Kane says, "How do I know you and Tariq aren't trying to run a long game?" He also says, "If you're jealous, just say that," which I think might be potentially being referenced to his soon-to-be relationship with Noma, which we are going to come to in just a moment. But at some point, it does seem like this relationship between Kane and Effie will be over. I know we saw a scene with them getting close in the official trailer, but it was always going to be a ticking time bomb of a relationship. It was never going to really work between two people who want two complete different lives. On one hand, Kane is just a straight up street soldier, and that's all he ever will be, because he doesn't know anything else. On the other hand, we've got Effie, who will still want out the game, which is what it comes down to with Effie. She's always going to look out for her own self-interests. Tariq said it in the previous teaser, all of these guys are out for themselves, and so I guess the next question is, what is she willing to do and how far is she willing to go to achieve her end goal? That's why Kane's rightfully questioning her and Tariq's game plan, because as Tariq said, and as we all know, she is a snake. She just can't be trusted, and it does seem like Kane is going to figure that out early doors in part 1. So if Effie is intending on playing Kane or causing some mischief, she's going to have to be very careful, because it is a dangerous game to play against someone like Kane and also Monet. Let's not forget what Monet's done in the past, who she's killed, and also how she sent a hitter to get rid of Effie in season 3. So if Effie is going to be a problem or she does betray them by playing the long game, in Kane's words, she's going to have to be very careful. It's also why she was one of my top death predictions and why she remains one, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Kane was the one to do it. Now he also kind of sticks it to Effie and tells her if she's jealous, just say that, which is probably in reference to him getting closer to Noma. So over to this very unexpected relationship. Now this is something which I'm sure none of us expected, but that's Power Book 2 goes for you. Expect the unexpected, and this is certainly one of them. How this has happened, I think only time will tell, I guess. But we all know Noma has never had trouble mixing business with pleasure, because she did do it with Mecca. Now we can't answer the question around how this has happened, but we can certainly look at patterns of play across Power.
Because murder, I never saw it coming. He kept you and your son a secret. But I was so blind, so in the dark, made me feel vulnerable. And I can't afford that, love.
Now we are going to come to a couple more examples in just a moment, but mixing business with pleasure never really works out too well for either party in the long run. We've seen characters sleeping with others just to get information, or maybe even a bit of pillow talk. Just recently in Raising Kanan, when Rock was sleeping with Unique, she let it slip her cash was stored away in a storage unit. Luckily for her, Unique wasn't thinking about hitting another one of Rock's stashes, but if he was, then it definitely would have been trouble for Rock. So you can certainly let your guard down when it comes to mixing business with pleasure, which also goes back to what Noma mentioned to Monet. She was kept so in the dark when it came to Mecca, it made her feel vulnerable, and she can't afford to be vulnerable, at least not in her position. But let's have a look at another perspective. One of Monet's ways of actually getting information, forcing men to drop their guard, is by sleeping with them, just like she did with Ramirez, and just like she taught Diana. So who knows, maybe this is something which has come from Monet. Maybe it's Monet calling the shots and telling Kane, get close to Noma, where she then drops her guard, so when the time's right, the Tejadas can strike. I do think it is a perspective worth keeping in mind, because there will be a lot of chess games and manipulation in and around this particular organization. Now we also have to ask the question, where is Obi? Especially when Noma decides to get closer to Kane, because I'm sure he's someone who'd warn her against it. I personally think by the time Kane gets closer to Noma, Obi will be taken care of. It's only a matter of time before Noma finds out about his betrayal, and then it's game over. But on this relationship with Kane and Noma, I don't think all is as it seems, so let's keep an eye on it. Anya Covington, Noma's bratty daughter, we've got her with none other than Tariq St. Patrick. So at some point, Tariq will get his hands on Anya, but let's remember, towards the end of season 3 he wanted to use her to get his freedom back, and who knows, he might still have that idea in the back of his mind. So maybe this is his way of hurting Noma, or maybe not. It has been teased that Anya Covington knows nothing about Noma's drug dealing life, and that's something Tariq and Anya have in common. Ghost kept his drug dealing life hidden for many years, which to be honest was for Tariq's own safety, but I think Anya and Tariq might find a few things in common. Now something else which I do think is worth a mention, a while back, Courtney Kemp did mention at some point in Tariq's life, there will be a woman who makes him choose between the boardroom and the streets. So could that be Anya for Tariq? Will he find some normalcy like he had with Lauren, but with Anya instead, and really learn from his lessons and mistakes with Lauren? I think in Power, and with Tariq being a St. Patrick, nothing will ever be normal, certainly not his love life. I mean, just have a look at what happened with Ghost. So father like son, and what won't help the situation is Diana. In the teaser we've got Diana asking Tariq, does Tariq want to join her, which might potentially be at the doctor's because she might be pregnant, but either way, this is going to cause a huge issue for Tariq and Diana if this does turn out to be true. The last thing both of them need right now is a baby, and I'm just interested to see how this all unfolds come the end of part 1. You know, how do they deal with the fact that they have a baby on the way? Does it alter their mindset, their moves and future plans? Of course it will. You can also bet Monet will have a lot to say and control. Could we also be in for a time jump? Maybe big enough to where we see Diana actually having the baby, potentially even in part 2, who knows? And also, who knows whether it might even be twins, because twins also do tend to run in the family. But it is going to cause a lot of difficult conversations, that's for sure, and it's not going to be easy for them to deal with. Now elsewhere in the teaser there was also a scene with Davis McLean and Perla Tanaka. She's going to be representing Davis as he's fighting his suspension, and this relationship is something I knew was bound to happen, especially with Davis. But will it hinder his case? That's the question. But that's a breakdown of a teaser that has definitely opened our eyes to a few more storylines and plots for season 4 in terms of love and relationships. So drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think of Effie potentially betraying Kane, her relationship with Tariq or the lack of it, Tariq's relationship with Anya and Diana, and also Kane's relationship with Noma. Could Kane potentially be playing Noma? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.